Hey everybody, Johnny B. Good here, located in Bethany, Missouri. I am just now trying to finish my my time here for trying to log in here. Hold on. Okay, here we go. I was parking a shoulder, trying to finish my my sign-in thingy. I don't even know. But anyway, everybody, this is Phoenix Drake with us on the channel. Phoenix, say hello to YouTube.
Hey YouTube.
Now, Phoenix,
I'd like to give a big welcome out to Barbara Miller and Carlos Hernandez. In fact, I just spoke to Carlos a couple weeks ago, I think it was.
it's been a while since we talked, and I think the last time we talked, we had this little bit of an interview. I would imagine that was like, almost been a year.
That was a month ago.
6 months?
That might have been a year. 6, 7 months or so at least.
Yeah. Well, you were in London or in the UK.
Yeah, I was visiting a friend of mine in England.
Yeah.
As you have noticed from some of my comments, I moved from Indiana to Canada. Got a job offer I couldn't turn down.
I did not know that. You're in Canada right now?
Yes.
Oh.
I've been living in Canada for the past, since July, actually.
Really? Wow, that's a big change. Indiana to Canada. So have you picked up the A yet? A? You haven't picked up the expression A?
What are you talking about, eh?
Yeah. Anyway. Hey, Phoenix, tell everybody about yourself, a little background there, and what you do for a living, and go ahead, man. It's all yours.
Well, as some of you might know, I used to live in Indiana, and I've since moved up to Canada. The reason was, got a job offer I wasn't about to turn down, better pay, better benefit. I work as a programmer, but I also I write code for various things on the computer. In fact, I'm still learning a bit more about that. It's constantly a learning experience when it comes to programming and writing code. The other thing I do is sometimes I'll run errands and stuff, go pick up various things for the company. Most of the stuff I can do directly from my house, which is helpful. But the other times I have to drive down to Edmonton or even down to Calgary. Driving down to Calgary, that's a 5-hour drive from here.
Well, you're way up there in the northwest, right?
Yeah, I'm there probably about 40, 50 miles south of the Arctic Circle.
Oh, wow.
If that. Yeah, we're way up.
You guys have snow up there now?
Since October, late October.
Right. So, Phoenix, what does it involve to work in a different country such as Canada? I mean, we all sometimes think Canada is almost just like the U.S., but regulation-wise and all that stuff,
Well, as far as regulations go, I haven't really noticed too much. Most of what I've noticed is kind of similar to what I saw in the U.S. I mean, you got national health care. That's one of the biggest things. All workers, and hell, even if you're not a worker, you get benefits for health care. And it's actually a health care program that works. I mean, everyone gets taxed a certain amount. And it's either a certain amount or a certain percentage. I can't remember what that is off the top of my head. I'd have to look that up. But everyone gets taxed a certain amount or a certain percentage. And it works, unlike with what they tried in the United States. It just kind of, well, for lack of a better word, didn't really work so well. only the poor people seem to have gotten taxed, which doesn't make sense to me.
What about job visa? How about working visa? Did you have to acquire that?
Yeah, I had to get that for the first month and a half, 2 months. I've since applied for Canadian citizenship, and here in the next couple of weeks, I should be getting that completely set up. I gotta call back and tell. Yeah, I want to have dual citizenship.
Holy smokies, you're going all out, aren't you?
Well, if I'm going to be living here for an extended period of time, it would probably be good to do that.
Now, you're getting the Canadian citizenship, or is that an equivalent to what we have here in the U.S. as like a green card holder or an immigrant?
Well, for right now, I kind of got what would be the equivalent of a green card, but I've put in an application for Canadian citizenship, and because of where I'm working and how I'm going to be working more or less full time, and it's going to be keeping me within the country for a very extended period of time, it said that they're going to work on getting me approved for Canadian citizenship. So that's a process I've started down. So probably sometime next month, I'll be both a Canadian and an American citizen.
That was just my question. You don't have to give up your U.S. citizenship now, do you?
Only if I want to.
Okay, but you could have a dual citizenship then? Is that what the goal is?
Yeah.
I see.
That basically means that when I cross the Canadian border, I won't need a passport for either side.
Cool. Now, I take it your job, you have some kind of a contract for a certain number of years or a period of time?
No, I'm on a salary.
Okay, but you don't have like a contract of how many years you can work there, or
No. It's where I was working previously. It was by the hour job. I got a friend of mine who works at the company I'm currently working for. He kind of started talking to his bosses about getting me in, because I just graduated from college. I got a nice degree, and as he said, I'm a pretty quick learner, so he could help me out, and I could be an asset to the company. And lo and behold, a bit of working and talking in between then and now, and I was offered a job. I took notice of what it had to offer. It was better than what I had currently. I have more pay. The landscape around here is infinitely more beautiful than what it was where I was in Indiana. Not that Indiana doesn't have its own beauty. It does have its own splendors and beauty, as you've noted when you've driven through. I noticed you haven't driven through recently, but you've been through Indiana, so you know what it has to offer.
Yep.
But up here...
How did you find that particular job? I mean...
My friend told me about it because he works for the same company I do. He's the one that helped me get into it. He's the one that mentioned me to his bosses.
Okay.
To his higher-ups. He mentioned me, said I could be an asset. They contacted me. We talked back and forth as we had a meeting with them on a sorts over Skype. What with the distance being a thing. And then I ultimately accepted, which meant I would have to move up here, which was a nice drive.
No, you drove up there.
Especially, yeah. I drove up here.
Now, what kind of car?
Fortunately, I didn't have it up.
What kind of car?
I've got a 1995 Nissan Pathfinder.
Yeah, that's it. I was trying to remember. I was thinking of a Toyota, but I knew it was a Japanese car.
Yeah.
Now, how far are you from Edmonton?
Ooh, about hour and a half, 2 hours.
Well, that's not bad.
In good weather. And weather like it is now, it can take close to 3 hours.
Wow, you guys got a lot of snow up there right now? Is it snowing?
It's not snowing at the moment. It was snowing earlier, but snow isn't really the major problem. It can be, but the biggest problem is actually ice, and of course the whiteout conditions you can get up here.
Oh, okay.
You know what whiteout is, don't you?
No. Yes. Yeah, it's equivalent to the Texas dust storm.
Yeah, more or less, except it's very, very white, very, very bright, and you can't really see. You can't really see because of snow, and you can't really see because it's bright.
Yeah. I've had a couple of those scary ones.
I imagine you would have driving through probably the mountains, the Appalachian and the Rocky Mountains. I imagine you would have that. You have had that a couple of times.
Believe it or not, I had that in Wisconsin one time. It was by the time.
I can see that.
By the time I had enough. There was no place to pull over to. There was I couldn't see 3 inches in front of my windshield. It was nothing.
Yeah, that is kind of scary.
How about your family? I mean, are they thrilled of you, working way over there?
Well, it's kind of a double-edged sword there. I mean, they're happy that I'm moving out and getting on with my life. And of course, they're happy that I'm making money and that I'm enjoying where I'm at. But at the same time, as far as miles go, it's better part of 1,700 miles or so from here to there. So it is a bit of a distance. I will be seeing them next summer. I'm planning on going to the 4th of July for the U.S. and, of course, the reunion, which also takes place in July every year, unless that changes.
Yeah, I was just about to ask you what the game plan is as far as family visits and...
As far as Christmas goes, I already had plans set up for Christmas, so I'm not really going to be able to go there. I'm not even going to be in this country on Christmas. Going back to visit Cash.
Oh, way over there in England. Okay.
Yeah. I already purchased the plane ticket, too. I bought that back in June.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I take note of... about when I want to leave, and then I try and purchase well in advance because then the tickets are a lot cheaper.
Now, I always kind of curious, when you're on the western states, which way do you fly to London? I mean, or England. Do you go east or west?
Well, this is going to be my first time flying from this far west to go to England. I mean, all the other times I was around Indiana, and I would fly either out of the Indianapolis airport or out of Chicago's O'Hare. And we'd go east towards England because we'd be flying across some states and then across the Atlantic. From here, I don't know. I'm assuming we'd probably go east because it would be shorter.
Towards the North Pole kind of a thing, right?
Yeah, I'd probably just fly east across Canada and across the Atlantic as opposed to going across the entire Pacific, all of Asia, all of Europe, and then landing in England.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Every time I go fly to the Philippines, every time I go home to the Philippines, seems like, well, of course, it's from Chicago to Minneapolis to Osaka, Japan, and then Manila. It always seems a lot longer. Is it because of the rotation of the Earth and plus where the direction of the airplane is?
Well, with a flight like that, it is a bit longer. I mean, from where I would fly to England, I'd fly over from where I would fly from before. I'd fly over a small portion of the U.S., just a few eastern states. Usually we'd land in New York, or stop over in New York before going straight on to Manchester, which is where my plane would land. But going to Manila, I mean, the Philippines is more or less on the other side of the world. I mean, England's just on the other side of the Atlantic. The Atlantic is not as wide as the Pacific. And not only are you crossing the Pacific Ocean, which is the widest ocean, you're also crossing a good chunk of the United States, better part of about 2,000 miles of U.S. country. Whereas with me, it's maybe 1,000 miles of U.S. country.
But what I'm getting at is, in which direction does the Earth? The Earth revolves clockwise, right?
I think so.
Okay. If you're looking at the globe, it's turning from left to right, right? Or is it from right to left?
It's turning towards what would be the east, because you can see that as the sun moves and sets, as it revolves around us.
Now, if I'm leaving Chicago going to the Philippines, I'm going headwind, so to speak. So the
more or less.
Yeah. So it's well then.
In theory, it should feel shorter because of that, but I don't know. I guess I think part of the reason is that you fly over a really big ocean, and it just seems like a long time. Plus, I think it's they're part of a 20-hour flight, including the stops.
Well, from leaving my house to arriving my house on both countries is exactly 24 hours. Anyway, Phoenix. So, how's mom and dad? Oh, actually, I know about your mom. Sorry.
My dad's doing okay. He's doing what he can. I already had a heart attack recently. He's fine. It's just a bit of stress from his current job.
Not to mention losing your mom. That would have been. I take it he took that pretty hard.
I think we took it a little bit harder. My parents been divorced since about the mid-90s. They still try to remain friends and kind of amicable for our sake. I mean, didn't really see a whole lot of reason to fight.
Yeah. I know that was really hard on you.
Yeah, especially just 6-7 months after I lost one of my grandmothers.
Yeah. That's the only thing that's guaranteed in this world, death. We all somehow, no one is accepted.
Well, there's a couple guaranteed things. Life, for a certain amount of time. Air, for the most part. Death, and then there's a couple other things I can't think of off the top of my head.
Taxes.
Food and water aren't necessarily guaranteed, but they're there.
Taxes, though. Even the homeless. Kind of
funny how that works.
Yeah. So what's next on your chapter of your life? I mean, where are you headed? Where do you envision your life 5-10 years from now?
5-10 years from now, I look to see myself in my own place.
Now,
either down in Edmonton. I'm 28.
28, gotcha. Oh, pretty young buck you are.
I've also started seeing a girl.
Well, that's nice. What's her name?
Her name is Sarah.
She's Canadian, of course.
Japanese-Canadian.
Japanese-Canadian. Beautiful combination. Well, congratulations.
I think so, too.
How old is she?
Yeah, most of her, she's 26, actually.
Okay. Now, how did you guys meet?
Actually, we kind of bumped into each other quite literally when I was down in Edmonton. She kind of lives around there. Most of our conversations and meetings are through Skype. But we have gone to see some things together. I mean, Edmonton's a little bit of a drive from here. But I'd gone down there with my friend Devin. We were going down there to do some work and some stuff. And I headed out to get some lunch. Since the weather was fairly nice, because at that time it was still kind of sunny. We hadn't gotten snow yet. I decided to just walk down the street to the McDonald's, get some stuff, and then walk back. It was quick, get back to work. I kind of bumped into her when she was walking out the door.
Uh-oh.
And I apologized to her, and I offered to buy her some food for the stuff that I'd messed up. And we got to talking, walked back. Her car wasn't parked that far from where our parking garage was, so that worked. And just 30 minutes of casual conversation was all I needed to get her phone number. And after that, I kind of worked on at that point in time, I was kind of working on another friendship. I wasn't really planning on getting a girlfriend. But things went a little better than anticipated, and I wound up with a girlfriend. Not that I'm complaining, I'm not.
Well, a girlfriend is always a good thing. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I remember back in high school, I bumped into a girl in school while I was riding my skateboard, and well, a little bump of a skateboard there, and that was it. So,
I've never ridden a skateboard, so I don't know about that. I ride bicycles.
Now,
not this weather though.
I would imagine you guys have gone to the world's largest mall in Edmonton.
I've been there a couple of times, yes.
I heard it's pretty big.
In fact, Sarah actually took me there for one of our dates. She said she told me I just needed to walk around and see the entire mall. So we did that, and she said it would be best to arrive. It took the better part of an entire day to walk around and explore the entire mall.
Now, the mall itself is all enclosed, or is that like
it's enclosed. It's completely enclosed.
So it's fair weather.
I think there was a water park in there too.
So it's fair weather all year round, controlled temperature all year round.
Yeah, I mean it's basically right here, right now, as you have it. Outside, up here, it's cold. There's snow on the ground. You go in there, it's warm. It's like what you'd expect when you walk inside a house. The heat's on, everything's warm, it's nice. In fact, I think there was a water park in there. Let me double check that. I can probably Google that real quick. It's been a little bit since I've been there. Edmund.
I was thinking of taking my girls.
Yeah, they do have a water park. They do have a water park.
I was thinking of taking my girls over there, but then again, my pockets are not deep enough to do that. So, never mind.
Well, let's see what you have to do. I know you'd be doing the driving.
Oh yeah.
Because I know they don't drive. I don't know why, but I can see why the wife wouldn't drive. The wife expects the husband to do driving, but I can't see why the kid wouldn't want to drive. I mean, the second I got my driver's license, it was like, I want to drive. Well,
I don't know. They say that they would help drive if we go somewhere. But
yeah, I remember you saying that on your trip to Oklahoma, and they didn't.
Yeah, they said, no, just take a nap. So, we'll patiently wait. No. We had a deal. No. Yeah, my kids seem to trick me a lot. They know that my brain can't catch up with theirs, so they take advantage of the Johnny B. Good brain. So,
let's see.
You and Sarah are getting serious there, or?
Kind of. We'd be able to get a little bit more serious once either I move down there or she moves up here. We kind of discussed that, so which would be better. Currently, I don't have the funds to move down there. That's something that's just going to take another half a year at least.
Now, is it true that it's pretty expensive in Canada?
Well, the prices aren't really that bad. I mean, you get towards the West Coast and they get a little bit more expensive. I'm planning on moving to Vancouver at some point, but that's not going to happen at least for 15 years or so, 10, 15 years. Vancouver is kind of like Canada's Los Angeles, I guess you could say.
Now, weather-wise, it's warmer down there too. I mean, in Vancouver.
Oh, and on the Pacific Northwest, on the other side of Rocky Mountains, because of that Pacific Ocean, that climate is kind of, I guess you could say, kind of tropical temperate. They really don't get snow too much in the lower areas. Up in the mountains, you will get snow, but for the most part, you really don't get a lot of snow in the lower areas that are right along that ocean.
Gotcha.
So basically, if you had a trip up to, say, Western Oregon, you'd have snow in the eastern part, but as soon as you cross those Rocky Mountains, you wouldn't have that much snow. And once you got close to the ocean, you probably wouldn't have any.
I see.
But it's a good chunk of the state is still going to be having snow. It's just that, I'm going to say, strip. And the same with Washington. It's just that little strip that's going to be, for the most part, free of the snow, usually.
Phoenix, one question. As far as your car is concerned, now, is that registered to a Canadian DMV now? Or?
Well, I did get it registered, but I also ran into a little accident.
Uh-oh.
I took it off-road, and I kind of rolled it, so I don't have the Pathfinder anymore. I've acquired a newer than what that was, SUV, but still didn't pay too much for it. Not something you're going to find in the U.S.
Now, when you drove to Canada, were you still using your Indiana insurance?
Yeah, at that point in time, I still had the Indiana insurance. It was about 2.5, 3 weeks. I'm still for the same insurance company. I just switched from the branch they had in Indiana to the one over here.
Oh, they have branches up there too. Okay, well, that's pretty cool.
Well, some of the big name companies do, but
now, do they the rates changed at all? Did they go lower, higher?
It went a little higher, but it didn't stay higher for too long. I think it's just because the move and that sort of thing. They decided to give me a nice little moving present. It's like, hey, we're going to raise your rates a little bit. But it really didn't stay there for that long, so I really didn't complain too much. And the change wasn't really that much of a change anyway, so it was annoying, but not something I'm going to complain about a whole lot, because it could have been worse.
Now, by the way, when you had your rollover, you were off-roading?
Yeah.
What was that like, being in a washing machine?
It was kind of interesting taking Nemesis or Justice, my Pathfinder. Nemesis is my new SUV. Taking Justice off road. First time I've really kind of done that on any sort of trail. And I was coming up to this part. I thought I had it judged, but not really having been off-roading before. I guess I misjudged. And before I knew it, the SUV was starting to slide. At that point, I decided to just hang on because I was in for a roller coaster ride.
How many times did it roll over?
I didn't count, but Devin said I rolled over at least 5 times before I came to rest up against a tree. Thank God for seatbelts.
Were you? Did your airbags deploy?
Yes.
What was
both
that
the
like?
driver and the passenger side airbags deployed.
What was that like? Pretty loud? I've never had the pleasure.
Yeah, it was pretty loud and kind of startling to have them deploy, but I was just happy when the ride ended and I could crawl out of my truck and just go, Wow.
Did you land right side up or what?
No, I was upside down.
Oh man, you should have had a camera with you. That would have been nice.
Devin had a smartphone. He videotaped the whole thing.
Really?
Yes.
Kindly share that with us.
I think I'd rather not. It was embarrassing enough that I know that I'm on camera.
Oh. Now, were you at a standstill when it rolled over, or were you traveling?
I was kind of working to kind of travel up this trail, and I guess my vehicle lost traction and started to go sideways down this kind of embankment. And the second I noticed that, I kind of really popped it into four-wheel drive, overdrive, but that didn't help.
Oh, yeah. Wow, that makes me want to buy a used vehicle and roll it over on purpose and put it on camera. Put the camera on the windshield.
You had a used vehicle you could have used that for. That Jeep Cherokee you had would have been perfect for that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it had the same basic body design as my Pathfinder. The only difference between the Cherokee and my Nissan, apart from the fact that Jeep is American and Nissan is Japanese, is some different design cues and different badges. And of course, mine was a 4-door. You had a 2-door.
Yeah, I never thought about it. I would have kept it too. But
I understand it had that death wobble when you went down the road.
Yeah, it tried to kill me a couple of times. That well, screw you.
Yeah, that's been that's kind of been an issue that's been noted with Jeeps.
Yeah.
Specifically the Cherokee and the Wrangler models.
Yeah. So, anything else you want to share, Phoenix? I mean, when I was in Kingman, Arizona last week, did you see those cars?
Yes, I did. I've been watching some of the videos, and I took notice of. In fact, I just watched one of your fueling video right after you did that, because I watched that other one last night, where you had those cars. I knew every car on that trailer.
What was
the
that
car on the back?
Yeah, what was that car?
That was a brand new Lamborghini Huracan.
Really?
That's about a $450,000 supercar.
And that's just the new model, like a 15 model or what?
2015, 2016.
Now,
it's one of those 2 years.
What about the
others? The one above it with the really big rims, that was a 1971 Impala. The SUV convertible in front of that was a Murano Cross Cabriolet. They didn't make it for very long. It did not sell very well. I thought the rims on that Murano were kind of ridiculous. The big white sedan, that was a Mercedes S-Class. It looked like it was either the new Pullman or the Maybach, but I did not get a good enough look at the badge. I did make a comment in reference to that. And then, of course, you had that big old Jeep Wrangler on the front.
What was that the red one with the humongous wheel? That was
a Nissan Murano Cross Cabriolet. That was you see the Nissan Murano SUVs?
Yeah.
They introduced a 2-door version of that and made it a convertible as kind of like some luxury option or something. They did that. They did that in 2009, and they made it to 2011. It didn't sell very well, so they stopped making it. I think they stopped selling it in 2012.
I was right, wasn't I? About the wheels not big enough.
I personally don't see the attraction there, but when I go out and see rims where they put rims like that on a vehicle, I'm just sitting there going, why would you do that?
Yeah.
But, people have different tastes. I'm assuming those cars were going to Las Vegas.
Possibly. Yeah, they were like a few inches too small. I did like the Jeep Wrangler. That was I think that would have been my vehicle. I know you would have probably taken the Lamborghini.
Oh, yeah, if it was a different model. Out of those, I probably would have gone with that white Mercedes. I'm not a big fan of the current model Lamborghinis. They're nice to look at. I don't know if I'd drive one.
Oh, I would imagine you'd drive one. Just you wouldn't buy one. Anybody would.
I'd drive one. I don't think I'd own one.
Yeah.